It's no secret. At our most prestigious schools and universities, the names at the top of the honour rolls are now all Asian. And the reason is just as obvious. They study far more than their Western classmates. But what's now been revealed in a best-selling book by a Chinese mum is how that achievement is often driven by the extreme expectations of demanding mothers. They call them tiger mums. Pushy parents not satisfied with anything but perfect marks. It's tough love, all right, but when you see the results, you just might want to unleash some tiger power on your own kids. It's 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon and school's out. But for these kids in Sydney's West and thousands around the country, the academic day is far from over.
Nice and loud. What was that? Former, correct. F-O-R.
Their parents are fast-tracking them to success with extra tutoring at coaching college. And it's no coincidence the huge majority come from Chinese families. And you enjoy learning, don't you?
Yes.
What is it about it that you love?
Well, I think it's like you take in new things and you know that someday all this information is going to come in handy and you are going to wow everyone with your awesome knowledge.
C-A-P-R-I-C-I-O-U-S, capricious.
That is correct.
For 11-year-old Leanne Yang, being top of the class means everything. And her hours of extra study and coaching are paying off. She won the highly competitive New South Wales Spelling Bee and topped the state in her age exams.
She likes reading, she studies a lot.
So now we need to practice the number, the one that we are given.
Leanne's an only child, and her mum Amelia, like most Chinese parents, values academic excellence above all else.
No kids study naturally, but I think the most important thing is for them to know that they have got a responsibility to study. And once kids know that, it's much easier because you don't have to push them because they know this is my job, this is my duty, and I need to carry it out properly before I can have other fun.
If I didn't have to study, but I could still learn things, then no, I probably wouldn't study. But seeing as there's no magical brain pill that automatically gives you 100,000% brain power, then unfortunately. Maybe I'll invent it someday.
Leanne is happy to do her duty. That means an hour of piano practice, then homework, and on top of that, extra study she sets for herself. In this household, the computer and television are not for entertainment, but gathering information. Tell me, what do you consider Chinese parenting?
Well, it's a bit of a stereotype, but they do encourage their children a lot, and they're quite focused on education more than the other areas. So education is foremost, whereas in most Western families, not that I want to be discriminatory, but it seems that they have, of course, they're still interested in their child's education, but not so strict about it.
It's almost a case now where Western kids in schools say, well, I came first if you don't count the Asians.
Okay, now walk, okay, just walk, be careful on the stairs.
Ros Woofers opened her coaching college, the SWAT Shop, 20 years ago and has seen Chinese parenting become a dominant force in Australian schools. Students from immigrant families started to fill her classes more than 10 years ago. The result? They now fill every top school and university in the country.
It's quite extraordinary, and people comment when they look at the HSC results. You just go down the names of the top students, and there's barely an Anglo-Saxon name there anymore. And the best schools, those who are most competitive entry, are just filled with Asians.
How hard do you see the parents pushing their kids?
Very often too hard. The greatest problem really is that Asians in general have scant regard for genetics as a factor of success. And so you do see very often the children simply get berated for not coming first because they say they haven't done enough work.
Do you think they fear failure?
I think, in an Asian family, there is such shame that's brought to bear by somebody who does fail, and that's a problem.
Yale University law professor Amy Chua was the one who lifted the lid on the secret world of Chinese parenting. In a best-selling book, she coined the phrase tiger mums to describe the extreme demands she and other Chinese mothers place on their children. What is a tiger mum?
Well, the way I'm using it, I think it's a mother who conveys very, very high expectations coupled with unconditional love. I think there's something about the culture that, encourages hard work, and there is a real premium on academics. There is a real emphasis on striving for excellence.
And that means sacrifice. Growing up, Amy's 2 daughters were forbidden sleepovers, playdates and television. Study and music practice always came first. And Amy set standards so high, some readers even accused her of cruelty. What about when they make you a homemade birthday card and you throw it back in their face?
They forgot about the birthday, so did my husband, and my daughters, they took a piece of paper, folded it in half, made a smiley face, and I looked at it and I said, Lulu, you know what? This isn't good enough. I want a better one. And I hope that's not the message.
But A- was unacceptable in your household.
It is true. When my daughter comes home with a 96 out of 100, I will say, okay, good job, but can we check out the missing 4 points? Let's improve.
Did you ever come home from school with anything less than an A grade?
Oh yeah, it's happened.
What happened?
Nothing. It wasn't pretty, but it wasn't, I'm alive. So.
Amy's eldest daughter, Sophia, seems to have survived her tiger mum upbringing unscathed, but her piano still bears the scars of endless hours spent practicing.
Wow!
So these are the teeth marks?
Those are the teeth marks.
So you actually gnawed on your piano?
Yeah, that happened. I was really frustrated, and I may or may not have taken it out on the piano here, so.
What did you think of Amy's parenting style?
Very rigid, and even I think to our standards, we found it has been very, very extreme.
So this time we have 3 weeks school holidays.
Chinese parents raising their children in Australia don't subscribe to some of Amy Chua's tough love tactics, but they do enforce strict rules of their own. Anytime Leanne and her friend Catherine spend away from their studies is monitored by their mums, Amelia and Joyce.
One of the big rules for Catherine is to prioritize. No TV or computer games until work is done.
Do you let them use Facebook?
I don't let her.
Where do we stand on sleepovers?
Sleep over at my place is okay, but no way for her to go out to sleep over.
If I was to ask the girls, would they say you were strict?
They might say that. My daughter might say that, but as parents, we are supposed to be warm and demanding. And that's how I see the parent role to be.
I'm not quite sure.
My parents aren't extreme, nor are they extremely lax. So the thing is, if I know I can get an A, then there's no reason why I shouldn't get an A, and therefore I try my best to get an A or higher.
You're pretty smart, aren't you?
Some could say that.
I reckon this is one of those questions. Mommy's not smarter than a 5th grader.
Joyce cut back her own work hours to ensure Catherine did well in entrance exams for the best high schools.
Okay, let me check the answer.
And you have to do extra homework on top of what the teacher assigns?
Well, for my tutoring homework as well, and sometimes my mom assigns me homework as well.
Mum assigns homework?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty cruel.
Not that cool. It's not that much, but yeah.
I believe that children should be challenged, but should not be pressured. there is a difference in there. And once she comes home with a test, you can say, oh, 90% are all correct. 10% we've got cross there. So we know that, Catherine, you have a little bit extra learning to do.
Do you think you found a good balance with your parenting?
We would like to achieve that fine balance. Yeah, from the academic perspective, we do encourage our children to try their best. But in the meanwhile, we also are taking time to allow the girls to having fun.
So what do you do for fun?
I like to read, I like to listen to music, mostly listen to music.
What about Justin Bieber?
No.
Oh, you're quite adamant about that.
Yes, I am.
How long have you been playing?
I don't know.
You don't know?
5 minutes.
Finding that balance between learning and leisure is a challenge for any parent. And it seems to be the great divide between East and West.
Maybe in some Western families, parents don't have high expectation of children and parents are too soft.
Frankly, there are many aspects of Western parenting that I know horrify Asian parents. You know, how much time Western parents let their kids waste, how quickly they let them grow up, what they are allowed to do, and also how poorly in some ways they prepare them for the future.
So you're not quite so strict with the dogs?
Totally not strict. They can do anything.
Amy Chua may have mellowed these days, but she still believes Western parents get it wrong.
I think that Western parents right now worry much more about their children's psyche and their self-esteem. You know, they always want to say, that's okay, don't worry about it. Whereas I do think that Chinese parents or immigrant parents, you know, they assume strength rather than fragility. And there are a lot of good things to be said about that.
Okay, students that are here for maths, nice and quietly just walk to the classroom.
And coaching guru Ross Woofers couldn't agree more. So is the Western style of parenting bringing up soft kids?
I think that's definitely true. You know, parents give in too easily. They don't say no often enough. They don't necessarily set good examples. I think there's too many Western parents who, don't perhaps put the same amount of time into their children that the Asian parents do. I'd love to see a happy medium between Amy Chua and the general Australian Western method of parenting. Most definitely, I think somewhere between the two would be absolutely ideal.
After meeting Leanne, there's no doubt this little girl always had the potential for success. All that extra study has absolutely guaranteed it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I want to go into forensics. I found out that there was such thing as forensic engineering, and I've always been interested in science and mystery and sort of crime, but not on the bad side, on the good side obviously. And I thought the forensic engineering sounded really fun. So, why not?
Would you say you're a typical 11-year-old?
Probably not. But mostly.
Hello, I'm Dimity Clancey. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.